The Korean textbook was hidden under the teenager's chair as PSY talked about cultural pride and the power of embracing your authentic identity. Ellen was discussing the global icon's journey to worldwide success when she noticed the young person in the third row constantly looking around nervously while tears streamed down their face during PSY's Korean responses. What happened next would prove that sometimes the most important performances aren't on concert stages, but in high school hallways where young Korean Americans learn that their heritage is something to celebrate, not hide, and that being authentically yourself in two cultures is twice the strength, not half the belonging. It was an energetic Tuesday afternoon at the Ellen DeGeneres show, and the studio buzzed with international excitement. 400 audience members, many from the Korean American community, had gathered to see the global phenomenon who had put K-pop on the world map discuss his continuing influence. Ellen, vibrant in a bold emerald blazer with silver accents, was thoroughly enjoying her conversation with PSY, who sat with characteristic charisma in the guest chair, wearing a sleek black suit with subtle Korean design elements, his presence filling the studio with that blend of playful energy and cultural pride that had made him not just an entertainer, but a bridge between cultures and a symbol of Korean excellence on the global stage. PSY, Ellen said, leaning forward with genuine fascination. Gangnam Style changed everything for Korean culture in the West, but you've always emphasized staying true to your Korean identity. What do you want to say to young Korean Americans who might feel pressure to choose between their heritage and fitting in? PSY's eyes lit up with the passion that had driven him from Korean underground to global stardom. Ellen, I want them to know that their Korean identity is not something to hide or be ashamed of. When I sing in Korean, when I celebrate Korean culture, the whole world listens. That should tell young Korean people that they don't need to make themselves smaller to be accepted. They need to make themselves prouder. The audience responded with enthusiastic applause, many Korean American families nodding with emotional recognition. This wasn't just celebrity promotion. This was cultural validation that felt deeply personal. And language, Ellen continued. You've never stopped performing in Korean, even when people suggested you should switch to English for broader appeal. How important is language to cultural identity? Language is the soul of culture, PSY said with conviction, switching seamlessly between English and Korean. When Korean Americans feel ashamed to speak Korean, when they hide their language like it's something wrong, they lose connection to who they are. But Korean is beautiful. Korean is powerful. Korean is global now. There's no reason for shame anymore. That's when Ellen noticed them. In the high third row, slightly to the left, sat a teenager who appeared to be around 16. They had short black hair and wore a simple oversized sweater, and seemed to be trying to make themselves invisible in their seat. Their name was Alex Kim, though Ellen didn't know it yet. What caught Ellen's attention was the way Alex was staring at PSY with desperate longing while tears streamed down their face, especially when PSY spoke in Korean, as if they were hearing something they'd been denied or had denied themselves. Alex kept glancing nervously at the audience around them, and Ellen could see them reaching under their chair for something they'd hidden there. Ellen's instincts, honed through 20 years of reading her audiences, told her this wasn't someone inspired by PSY's message about cultural pride. This was someone struggling with the exact shame PSY was trying to heal. PSY, Ellen said gently, hold that thought about Korean Americans not needing to feel shame about their language. I think someone in our audience is struggling with exactly that right now. PSY followed Ellen's gaze toward Alex, his expression immediately shifting from entertainer to concerned cultural advocate as he recognized the signs of someone wrestling with identity and belonging. Ellen stood up from her chair and took several steps toward the audience. Sweetheart in the third row, you look like PSY's words are really affecting you. Alex looked up, mortified by the sudden attention of 400 people and multiple cameras. They tried to stop crying and shrink further into their seat, clearly panicked about being singled out. "I'm okay," Alex said in perfect, unaccented English. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be distracting." Ellen walked down the steps that separated the stage from the audience, something she did only when every instinct told her someone was hiding pain that needed to be addressed. "What's your name, honey?" Ellen asked, now standing directly in front of Alex's row. "Alex Kim. I'm 16. Ellen knelt down in the aisle beside Alex's row, her emerald blazer spreading around her as she created a safe space in what must have felt like terrifying exposure. "Alex, I notice you have something under your chair. What is it?" Alex looked around nervously, then reached under their seat to pull out a worn Korean language textbook. Their hands were shaking as they held it. "It's my Korean textbook," Alex whispered. "I've been trying to teach myself Korean because I never learned it properly." The studio fell into that particular silence that happens when hundreds of people realize they're witnessing someone's deepest shame being exposed. From the stage, PSY stood up immediately. Without being asked, without consulting producers, he walked down to join Ellen and Alex. This celebrity interview had just become something infinitely more important. PSY approached Alex with the gentle respect of someone who understood the complexity of Korean-American identity. "Alex," PSY said in English, then switched to Korean. "Why 한국어를 배우고 싶어요? Why do you want to learn Korean?" Alex's composure cracked completely. I don't understand," they admitted in English. "My parents stopped speaking Korean to me when I was little because other kids made fun of my accent. They wanted me to fit in, to be American. But now I feel like I lost part of myself." Ellen felt her heart breaking as she watched this teenager voice the exact cultural trauma PSY was trying to heal. "Alex, what happened when other kids made fun of your accent?" "In kindergarten, kids would laugh when I spoke Korean to my mom at pickup. They'd make ching-chong noises and ask why I couldn't speak normal. So my parents decided we'd only speak English at home. They thought they were protecting me." PSY knelt beside Ellen, creating an intimate circle, while Alex continued to clutch the Korean textbook like it contained their lost heritage. "Alex, how do you feel about that decision now?" "Like I'm not really Korean, or really American," Alex said through their tears. "When I'm with Korean friends who speak Korean fluently, I feel ashamed that I can't talk to my own grandparents. When I'm with white friends, they still see me as different no matter how American I act. I don't fit anywhere." PSY's expression had shifted into something Ellen had rarely seen from any celebrity, a fierce determination to heal cultural wounds that had been passed down through generations. "Alex, I want you to listen to me very carefully," PSY said, speaking in English but with clear pride in his accent. "Your parents made that choice out of love, out of fear for your safety in a society that wasn't ready to appreciate what you are. But that society is different now. Korean is cool now, Korean is respected now, Korean is global now." Alex looked up at PSY with something approaching hope. "But I'm so behind. I can barely read Korean. I don't know cultural references. I feel like a fake Korean person." "There's no such thing as a fake Korean person," PSY said firmly. "Korean blood runs through your veins. Korean ancestors live in your DNA. Korean strength lives in your spirit. Language can be learned. Culture can be reclaimed. Identity can be rebuilt." Ellen stood up slowly, her heart racing as she realized they were witnessing the restoration of cultural identity in real time. "Alex, what would it mean to you to be able to speak Korean?" "Everything," Alex said, fresh tears streaming. "I want to talk to my Halmione before she dies. I want to understand K-dramas without subtitles. I want to feel Korean inside, not just look Korean outside." PSY reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out something unexpected: his personal phone. "Alex, I'm going to give you something right now. I'm going to give you my personal contact, and I'm going to connect you with Korean language teachers, with Korean cultural programs, with Korean American youth groups. But more importantly, I'm going to give you permission to be proud of starting this journey now, instead of ashamed that you didn't start it sooner." He typed something into his phone and showed Alex. "And I want you to practice Korean with someone who understands the journey. Me." Alex stared at PSY's contact information, like he was offering them their heritage back. "Why would you do this for me?" "Because you're exactly why I came to America in the first place," PSY said with emotion. "To show Korean American kids that they don't have to choose between Korean and American. They can be proudly both." Ellen felt tears welling in her own eyes as she watched this cultural healing happen. "Alex, what would you say to your 5-year-old self who was being made fun of for speaking Korean?" "I would tell them that the language they're speaking is beautiful, that the culture they come from created music and movies and food that the whole world loves now. I would tell them to never let anyone make them feel ashamed of being Korean." Ellen began removing her emerald blazer. "Alex, this blazer has been with me through some of my most important interviews, but today it's witnessing something more important than any celebrity story. It's witnessing someone reclaiming their identity." She placed the blazer around Alex's shoulders. "You came here today, hiding a Korean textbook like it was something shameful. But learning your heritage language isn't shameful. It's heroic." But it was PSY's next words that reached Alex at their core. "Alex, I want you to know something. When I perform Gangnam Style around the world, when I see non-Korean people singing Korean words, I think about kids like you who were told that Korean wasn't good enough. But Korean was always good enough. You were always good enough. Your parents were always good enough. The world just needed time to catch up to what we already knew." PSY stood up and addressed the cameras, switching between Korean and English. "If there are Korean American young people watching this who feel disconnected from their culture, who feel shame about their heritage, 여러분은 혼자가 아닙니다. You are not alone. Korean culture is your birthright. Korean language is your inheritance. Korean pride is your power." The moment that brought the entire studio to sustained applause came when Ellen asked Alex what they wanted to say to other Korean American kids who felt culturally lost. "I want them to know that it's never too late to come home to yourself," Alex said, holding their Korean textbook with pride for the first time. "I want them to know that being Korean American doesn't mean being half of anything. It means being twice as strong, twice as beautiful, twice as special." PSY's eyes filled with tears of cultural pride. "That's exactly right, Alex. You are not half Korean and half American. You are fully Korean and fully American. That's your superpower." 3 months later, Alex Kim appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show again, but this time they delivered part of their interview in Korean, having made incredible progress with language study and cultural connection. They had joined Korean American youth organizations and were teaching other kids about reclaiming their heritage. PSY appeared in person to celebrate their progress and announced the launch of a cultural education program specifically designed to help Korean American youth reconnect with their roots. The segment sparked a national conversation about cultural assimilation pressure, the trauma of forced language loss, and the importance of celebrating multicultural identity. Alex became an advocate for heritage language education and cultural pride, speaking at schools about the power of embracing rather than hiding your ethnic identity. Ellen learned that day that her job wasn't to interview famous people about their latest projects. Her job was to create moments where cultural shame could be transformed into cultural pride, where young people could reclaim the heritage they'd been taught to hide. and where being authentically multicultural could be celebrated as strength rather than confusion. PSY learned that the most important performances happen not on concert stages, but in moments when his global success gives someone else permission to be proud of the Korean identity that connects them across oceans and generations. And Alex Kim learned that sometimes the scariest thing you can do, admitting you've lost connection to your own culture, is also the first step toward coming home to yourself and discovering that your heritage was never something to overcome, but something to celebrate. Because the most powerful songs aren't always the ones that top global charts. Sometimes they're the ones sung in heritage languages by young people who refused to let cultural shame silence their authentic voices, who learned that being Korean American isn't being caught between two worlds, but being blessed with two homes.